Hello. Welcome to our weekend wake up call reading. I am excited because I'm going to be using my Curious Travels Tarot deck, and we're going to use the Prism Oracle, and then, of course, last but not least, the Power of Surrender. I always like to touch base with that deck. This is covering from, your weekend into the following week, right? Until we meet again. So usually I publish these anywhere from Wednesday to Friday, and that carries us through that weekend and into the next week till I do this reading again. So members, friends, those who are called to watch this, what is coming up for us, or what do we need to focus on in this coming weekend into next week? What to focus on? I want Spirit, give me. We got Eight of Swords. Okay. The Tower. Okay. Some sort of anxiety around some sort of like what feels like a earth-shattering change, good or bad. I've gotten the Tower card in the best of times, and I've received the Tower card in the worst of times. So I can't say it's a bad or a good change for you. I just know that there's an impending change, either collectively, old paradigms are falling down. The constructs of what has been built is crumbling. The infrastructure is crumbling. But this makes room for robust change. When you think of the phoenix rising from the ashes and making something stronger than what was there before it. But there's anxiety, there's heavy anxiety about this unavoidable change. Okay, that's what we get here with this Eight of Swords. Much of this is our mindset and how we are looking at whatever it is that is upon us. We're going to be really having to deal with during the time period, whenever you're watching this. But this is going to be a key time period for you with the Tower card of March 21st to April 20th. So it's going to be, if you're watching this in January, it's going to be now between January and that Tower period, or wherever you show up in the year that you're watching this video. That is a key time of some kind of change, and you're going to have about 8 months of either just anxiety or stress, things building up in your mind, causing panic attacks. And Spirit is inviting you to change your perspective, realize what is yours to do, what is in your purview, what can you control and what can't you control, and getting very clear about that, because this change of whatever is coming with the Tower is necessary, despite what we may want to judge and think about it. And we have to move through it. And the more you build it up in your mind that things are completely over, you've got nothing to be inspired for, you're stressed out, you're worried about outcomes, the more you focus on that, the more you are not able to receive whatever it is that is a blessing on the other side of this Tower moment. And you're just stressing yourself out at this point needlessly with the Eight of Swords. It's not to say that it's not something that you shouldn't be concerned about, you shouldn't plan for, but once you have done all you can to move something forward, that's it. And there's some things that is not yours to do. Be very clear about that. Okay? We have sweetness. We have passion. Gotta channel that passion. And movement. There's movement happening this week. I'm going to now pull from the Power of Surrender. Go ahead and lay out the cards here that we've got. Look at that. Spirit just be right on time. Just right on time. And let me say this. These readings are both personal to those who are resonating with this reading week over week, or collectively, what we're seeing and witnessing and experiencing as a collective. And this reading can speak to the individual, okay? So I wanted to say that. We have your sweetness. You know, when you think about different kinds of tower moments, there is an element of sweetness. There is camaraderie. There is the sweetness of nostalgia, of memories past that inspire you to be, impassioned about a cause, to take up the cause, to do something with that passion, that fire, that fury that you have inside of you. Here's the Tower. You got to channel it in a healthy way that does not stress yourself out. If you're not careful, you can enter into Nine of Swords territory where you, whether justified or not, are losing sleep, you're feeling persecuted. Maybe you are persecuted, but that space, that headspace, is one that can cause all sorts of health issues down the line if we're not careful. So this is your opportunity to say, let me channel this anger, this drive, this desire into a healthy way with the Sweetness card. Movement. Things are moving. Things are swiftly moving. We've got that 8, that figure 8. Things are swiftly moving. Movement. Movement of ideas, movement of different ways of how you approach a situation, how you're approaching this big change that's happening in your career life, in your mood, like your life, your home life, your house situation, your family situation, your creative endeavors. There's movement, but there's needing to be movement, because otherwise you could become jaded in Eight of Swords energy. If you're not careful, you cannot see the sweetness of a situation, and that passion has nowhere to go. So it starts to internalize into anger, into resentment, into frustration. It has no outlet. It needs to move out. Okay. So now Spirit wants to give us some homework for this next week or so. Surrender to joy. A key to positive change in your life is to let joy in and savor it. Indulge in random acts of smiling during both the hard and easy times. Keep surrendering to more joy. Okay. One of the times I got the Tower card was when I got the Tower card several months before, and it was around my living situation. My lease was coming up, and the rent was going to be raised by almost $300. Like in California, it's wild. Sometimes your rent could be cool for a little while if you got a cool landlord. Other times, if you're renting from a corporation like I was, your rent guaranteed will go up after the lease every single time. And I was like, this is outrageous. And I'm scared. I don't want to pay that kind of money. I am scared. And I remember at some point being like, what do I do? And so there was this nudge to maybe consider buying a home versus renting a home and seeing what that would entail. And then came the point where I went through the process of getting pre-approved, found my home. It was the first home that I searched, at the start of my house search. It was the first one I looked at, and I actually found it. It was like a listing that popped up on New Year's Eve, and I found it, and it was cool. And I called my realtor, can we go look at it? I know it's New Year's Eve. Great. That was the sweetness. I have a sweet memory of first going in there. I was the first person who went in there, and it was my first listing. I saw several other houses. That's the sweetness. The challenge to that tower came when I realized I had a gang of stuff to move and to discard before the move. And I needed to hire movers. And the move ended up being one of the most challenging house moves I've ever encountered in my life. It was super stressful. And I just remember being in the moment of like the move itself. I can remember it right now. And I'm seeing stuff still not ready to be moved and put into the truck. And I'm kind of panicking. I remember my family members bringing levity to the situation. Like, girl, you're going to get moved into the house. Don't stress, let's have fun. We ordered a pizza for lunch. We had a good time. And we moved. But it was a tower moment. It came from a point of something had to change. I can't keep paying higher and higher rent every single time the lease comes up. And then I made a move. I made a shift. I did something different. But there was more. I had one more hurdle to cross, one more hurdle to overcome and jump over before I got to the other side. But now I can look back at that memory with fondness, nostalgia, and sweetness. So you are invited to look at a situation and find the sweet spot in it, even if everything looks dire. Find the sweet spot to bring and restore hope in your heart, in your mind, body, and spirit. Surrender your fear of change. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always, whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or in a relationship, or if you fear aging or death. Repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. And so it is, in Ashe. So, this is telling me some of us are very fearful about whatever change we're experiencing on the collective or personally. And if you want to delve a bit further, especially like if you're a Rebel Soul member, we could talk about this one-on-one during our one-on-one meetings. We meet up once a month. Same with the Cosmic Seers. We meet every other month. Or maybe you want to book a reading with me to dive a bit deeper into this for you. How you can move in, with more ease through this big change. We can do that. Lastly, surrender obsessive thinking. That's what I was talking about with this Eight of Swords. Look at that. If you're obsessing about a person or situation, turn the dilemma over to spirit. Doing so will help bring you clarity or even solve the problem. There are no solutions hanging out in the Eight of Swords energy. We have our blinders on. All we can see is the strife, the trauma, the letdown, the fear. Because we can't see what's going on. We can't really assess. We got to take the blindfold off, but we're not willing to at this point. And Spirit is like, if you want to feel better about this change, better about what's going on, you're going to have to take the blindfolds off. You're going to have to get a little uncomfortable with this tower moment. But I am not going to forsake you. I am not going to forsake you. Your ancestral team, not going to forsake you. They are with you. Your spirit team is with you. We're together in this. A lot of times they want us to believe that we are here by ourselves on little islands upon ourselves. We are not. We are part of this magnificent human being connection. We're one big magnificent organism together. We are so powerful together. That's why we can feel things collectively. How powerful is that? How miraculous is that? So remember those things. They want us to feel like we have no hope. But don't let them do that. Don't do that. I could have with high rent, the facing that, just went ahead and put my blinders on and said, well, I'm just going to have to toughen up and keep paying high rent year over year and just continue to resist the change. But I said, no, let me price compare. If I put some money down on a home, how much is my mortgage going to be compared to how much I'm paying in rent now? And it was cheaper. It was cheaper, but I could have had my head in the sand, focused on the stress and continuing to wallow in that versus just embracing a tower moment and letting go. letting go of that beautiful rental house. It was cute. I love that rental house so much. The Ivy Hill house, we called it, because that was the name of the street. Loved it. But you know what? I got something even better. Even better. So that's it, friends. That's what I want to leave you all with this weekend wake-up call reading. Let me know how it lands with you. And I send you all so much love. You take very good care of yourselves whenever you're watching this video. I love you. Bye for now.